Any question you got for the future? I want to start off right with this flag right here. First of all, I want to thank you all for coming before I even go into my lecture. I appreciate the Divine Conscious Minds for being here while we align as an invocation and a manifestation of the divine black consciousness, because that's what this is. This is a ritual where the black God consciousness, the reverence, is constantly being invoked and manifested into the physical universe. So every time we had these particular building sessions, we are literally channeling the energy of the black God consciousness within self and within this physical experience that we're having. So I want to, first of all, I'm grateful for that, to constantly manifest this ritual, because this ritual in the temple is a very powerful ritual. It's powerful for us. It's powerful for our community. So it's not just a lecture that I'm doing or just some type of speech. This is a conscious ritual of divine self-manifestation and sending that vibration out from this divine situation, from this divine moment out into the universe. And when I say out in the universe, I'm not talking about just out into empty space, but it's going to go out as us through time. Because now we're moving in the vibration of the energy of what has been invoked and manifested in these rituals. So now we're creating our future by even the energy that we're giving to these divine moments, to these divine rituals, of these building sessions that we call lectures. But they're, incantations. This is voodoo that's happening right now with these particular building sessions that we're having. But I first wanted to start off talking about this American flag. And how with this particular flag of KKKA, the United Snakes of America, they say that you actually have freedom of speech, where you actually can speak and speak out and say what you want to say or think and address certain issues based upon what's on your mind and how that affects the massive public. We had a freedom of so-called speech. That's supposedly one of the constitutional rights. Now, the European cannot give us any divine rights. He doesn't have the power. Our vocal cords that came from our mother, that was our divine right to speak. There's no legislation of how long a baby can cry in the hospital when it comes out of its mother's womb. That's cruel. So our freedom of speech comes from the womb. And it comes from what came out of that triple darkness. What came out of that dark space. That's where our freedom of speech, and that's what was even truly supposed to be said, came from. It came from that infinite dark realm. And that's our right to speak. And that right is backed by the forces in nature, which are the same forces that made our arrival and our journey to this planet a very safe journey. So no matter what we feel here, based on Black God consciousness, you don't find us attacking people for their speeches. You don't find us attacking people for what they said. You do find us looking for animosity where it really exists, so that we can challenge people based on truth. You do see us approaching and dealing with people based upon real animosity or differences in opinions that could lead to other circumstances. You do see us confronting them intellectually and philosophically based upon those differences where we are able to. Now, we're challenging them and going to them based upon them growing in their own mind and in their own consciousness. Because if they have a real issue or a real problem in consciousness, what we're doing, that means that if with the solution of that problem, they can actually grow and become a more conscious being. If they're not emotional and they really want a dialogue based upon real and actual truth. If it's some emotional position, there's not a lot of change that they can make, because it's not a rational disagreement. It's an emotional disagreement. So there's no conscious solution that can come from emotional disagreement, because you're not going to get any communication with those people. But where there's true disagreement based on principle, based on consciousness, based on the growth of where human beings are involved. We seek to interface with those individuals to grow them and ourselves simultaneously, to reaffirm and reinforce and remanifest the divine thought process that we have. That is our process. The transformation of our consciousness is nation building. It is personal enlightenment. So you'll find us challenging those individuals, not challenging the individuals, but challenging the ideas that are inaccurate, challenging the hypocrisies and the contradictions that individuals have temporarily chose to take on based on what they believe truth is. We challenge those positions because that's how they grow. That's a part of their growth process. So you'll find us making those challenges, but you won't find us attacking individuals based upon what they have said, or based upon their ideas, or based upon their ideologies. You won't find us attacking individuals. You'll find us dialoguing and communicating. The only place you find us attacking is where we have it more. We see that our life is threatened, and that we really believe, and not based on our own emotional or fear inside of us, or spookism or paranoia, where we really feel that we are in imminent danger, we will attack completely. Sincerely. We're not attacking anybody based on some words or based upon the elusive appearance of circumstances. That's ridiculous. We should be more investigative and less emotional, more conscious than that. We love our people. But what we will attack is where we feel like true imminent danger is manifested. That's a fact. Not based on no words and people's ideas and people's concepts and what they say about us and what we're doing. That's their opinion. So now back to this American flag. You have freedom of speech to say the devil, so-called, gives you freedom of speech, so-called, with this flag. But when you go over to the red, black, and green flag, you'll find black people that would tell you not to talk about black supremacy. Under the red, black, and green flag, you'll find black people telling you don't talk about the white man being the devil. They'll tell you don't talk about an enemy. Under the red, black, and green flag, you'll find other black people who carry that flag, trying to silence you about talking about the condition of your people. But the flag is supposed to represent black freedom and black liberation. But we don't have the liberty to speak based upon the misconception of individuals who use that flag. Don't say the white man is the devil. Get off that. Stay off those issues dealing with black or white. We shouldn't focus on the white man. We're giving too much energy to him. Between the ages of 25, no, I want to say between the ages of 17 to 25, the number one killer of black people is the hands of another black man due to hate, self-hate, and not recognizing who our real enemy is. Let me show you his flag. So, because this is the general white man right here, over here. We see black people dying. This is it right here. This is it. Just showing y'all. Y'all see it? Okay. Generally, because they don't recognize that flag, they don't recognize an enemy. So they kill each other by design. Because that enemy taught us to hate ourselves and to hate one another. And our inability to recognize him makes us feel comfortable with destroying ourselves, because we keep recognizing ourselves as the enemy. We recognize those who represent black power even within the black community. They are being recognized as an enemy to their own people, because enough emphasis has not been put on the real enemy. And if you don't recognize who your real enemy is, then you're ready to kill your own people. You're ready to destroy those who are around you, who are close to you, because you don't know the condition and the problem that has designed and created this situation. for us to destroy ourselves. So we constantly teach that the white man is the devil to put emphasis, to reawaken and reinforce the recognition of who the real enemy and who the real devil is. But they say don't talk about that. Don't put no emphasis on that under the red, black, and green flag. That's heavy. So now I come to make the red, black, and green flag a representative of the freedom of speech of the black man, of the real black man. I grant black people as the president and king and executive officer of the universe. I grant black people under the red, black, and green flag the freedom of speech against these crackers and these devils. I grant them the freedom of speech. So if you was whispering and concerned about the devil and concerned if the devil was hearing you or if you have the right to say this or that about the white man, I personally, as the supreme architect and the manifestation of the true and living black God, I grant you the freedom and the right and the permission with the authority that is inside yourself to speak out against this goddamn devil. You have the freedom of speech today. Speak out under the red, black, and green flag. To speak out against the white man. To speak out against his government, his capitalism, his colonialism, his imperialism, his plot to destroy black people and feed off of them and to suck off of them. I grant you the freedom of speech under the red, black, and green flag to speak under him, to speak against that. But it's just like this American flag, this American country. You got to fight for that freedom. And you have to fight to maintain that freedom continues. Because they have the freedom of speech because they know that your freedom is contingent upon the ability to speak. Your freedom is contingent on your freedom to speak. And once your freedom of speech is limited, you don't have no damn freedom. Because you don't even have the freedom to talk, less than build, create, or manifest. That's a fact. So now we are willing to speak against our enemy. They said we should only focus on the problems that exist within our community. But how do you focus on those problems without looking at the nature and root of them? Because if you only focus at the problems where they are, it's just symptoms. This nigga did this to me, let me go kill him. That's symptomatic of a greater problem. A greater problem. You have black people that are building something in their own community, establishing something. Put their energy to manifesting something so that black people could have free clothing, free housing, and free shelter. Put their energy to manifesting that. Then you have devils that run up in houses and shoot little girls. But you find the people that are about black power, they're attacked. They're in warfare with people under the red, black, and green flag, supposedly. But these devils that kill little black babies, nothing happens to them. But when it comes to our own, we're tough. We're tough at reinforcing the Willie Lynch. We're tough at enforcing the Negro codes in 2010. We're tough at this. We're tough at making sure that no black people really had no real power. We become tough at that. We can police a nigga coming up. We can police that. We got armies for a nigga coming up. We got strategies to pull a nigga down. Years of techniques and methodologies of pulling people down. Now this takes me into another point. I always talk about nation building. But you can build a Mexican nation, a white nation, a Zulu nation, a 5% nation. It's a whole bunch of different type of nations out there. Gang nations. This and that type of a nation. So I'm taking the emphasis off nation building.